Hey, it's been a while. Welcome back to my music channel. I was practicing earlier or just now, and I realized, I really want to share some of the music I'm working on right now with one of my aunts who's really far away, and I can't just bop over to her house and play piano for her. I wish I could, but she lives across the country, so shout out to Aunt Lucy. Hope you enjoy hearing what I'm working on right now on the piano. I'm in my upstairs studio room, and you can see my keyboard right here. Apologies for the vertical video. I just like this isn't a super formal like YouTube thing. It's just really casual. And I figure I don't have to film separately if I want to clip anything for one of the vertical platforms like TikTok. So yeah, and for my sighted viewers, I will be I'll be describing things a bit because the family member I want to show this to is not sighted; she's blind. So um, just so in case you're like, why is he saying things that I can see? Like, well, that's why. But anyway, I for once I'm not wearing a one of my T-shirts that looks like one of the photos from the Hubble Space Telescope, which is the vibe I've decided on for myself, just like space, stars, ne- um, rainbow, nebula type of things. Instead, I'm wearing this black T-shirt that has a tree that all the leaves are like fire. So it looks like it is in the shape of a tree canopy, but it's flames instead of leaves. And I got this shirt for Christmas from my parents when I went to visit their house in January. Um, they used to live in Altadena. No, I went to visit them in December. Can you see where this is going? um, so I had chosen this shirt as one of the T-shirts that I wanted since they were like, hey, there's a sale at this T-shirt company. Want to get some T-shirts with us? And I was like, sure. So this is one of the ones I got, and I think it's really ironic because in January, my entire hometown burned down, including their house. So no worries about doxing because they're not in Altadena anymore. And like, I know I seem flippant right now, but it's just because, what do you say about it? Like, I do feel deeply about it, but it's just like on the surface, it's just hard to express that. My piano is one of the things I am most sad about. I grew up learning to play on that piano that was from the cable company Chicago, and that logo was how I learned where middle C was because it was in the middle of the board, like where middle C was, and the cable company Chicago, it doesn't even make pianos anymore. I don't think they exist at this point. And she was like, I used to say over 100 years old. She's like, she was probably close to 100 years old, certainly older than any of us in the house. And I fully expected to like inherit that piano and pass her on to whoever my heir would be. Like, I'm not planning to have kids, but like someone. And now I don't get that, which is sad. But I am glad I got to play her one more time. So one of the songs I'm um, going to show you is a song that I was going to play this Christmas, but I didn't feel comfortable enough. It's a very difficult song, and I didn't feel like I was to the point where I felt comfortable playing with another musician. Both the songs I wanted to play on that piano were piano and violin. My dad plays violin, and So I did end up playing one of them, Ave Maria, which is really cool because I grew up watching my dad and his mom play that on that piano. So I was like, it felt like graduating, kind of. And I'm glad I got to show my piano that I'm grown up, and I have a piano student now. Only one, because I've only managed to find one person that wants to stick with me and get piano lessons. I am looking for more at the moment. I do video lessons as well as in person if you're in the Bay Area. But anyway, but it's great to have my first piano student though. He's awesome. And I promise we'll get to the actual playing soon, but like this is the update portion, I guess. As I'm teaching him and we've gotten past there's just the bare beginnings of like, here are the notes, the scales, here's what a time signature and a key signature is. I'm thinking about, okay, what are the more nuanced things I can teach him, because we're getting from beginning slowly into intermediate, I think. And it's nice to reconnect with what brings out the musicality in a piece for me as well, so I know that I'm like continuing my studies almost. And so that's something I've been thinking about as I'm practicing these pieces, because even though they're a lot more advanced than what I'm having him learn, it's like we're talking about the same things, like which notes do you emphasize to make the piece kind of sing, which notes do you de-emphasize so they won't stand out. A lot of times those notes are in the left hand, because the left hand, for most people who are right-handed, is like, paradoxically, it's since it's not as strong or dexterous, it's easier to go loud on the left hand than soft, and so it takes a lot of strength to like have the delicacy to just go like make a soft and even sound. And the lower notes where the left hand is tend to be louder anyway. So yeah, that's something that you can tell that someone is a more experienced musician if they're doing that well, instead of just like do 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 do, which is fine, but like it's fine when you're like focusing on the actual notes and getting them right, but it does show that you're more of a beginner. So coffee break. This mug came from Joann's, Rip Joann's, and it says "The moon made me do it." It's one of their Halloween witchy mugs, and I love it. For me, it connects to one of my gods who's a moon god, so just kind of a fun joke with him. I'm one of the neurodivergents who has several like beverages at any given time, because you got to have your water and then also your coffee and other things. So it's also a water break. Anyway, I guess I want to show you this version of Pachelbel's Canon first, and you might know this song as one of the ones that's commonly played at weddings. It's like do 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 do. Then it just like gets variations on that theme and just goes on. And none of the official versions for piano, or like, I think it's originally meant, I think he may have composed it for not piano, like for an ensemble. I don't know, but there are several versions I found for piano because people enjoy playing it on their own instrument, and piano is a common instrument that people can play. So it's so there are two sites that I go to for sheet music, and one of them is 8 Notes, which is really good for like more official like um not official, but like more like teacher oriented things. Like, here are some materials for music lessons, here are some like standard arrangements of different songs in different levels, and they have a lot of classical music. And then MuseScore is more of a wild card, but it's the site, the website of a program called MuseScore that you can write sheet music for on your computer. So it's a sheet music writing program, and then you can have the computer play back to you if you want. Several of my albums on Bandcamp are just like MuseScore playing back what I've written, and it takes some skill to like make it sound good on MuseScore, because it, unlike a human performer, it doesn't it doesn't know when to like have a little bit of a slowdown or crescendo or decrescendo. It's just all exactly as written, so it does sound very mechanical, but it can sound good. So but people also write music that's meant to be played by a human, and then they upload the sheet music to the MuseScore site, and a lot of it is like fan songs, or fan arrangements of songs, like from video games and movies and things like that. And apparently people write their own arrangements of like famous classical pieces too, which is what this is. This arrangement is 6 pages long, so I'm gonna have to pause in the middle and like take down the first 3 pages. So apologies for that in advance. But it's arranged by Lemon Tart. That's the person's username, and it really amuses me that Lemon Tart is the arranger of my favorite version of Pachelbel's Canon. Shout out to Lemon Tart. So yeah, that's just me putting the first 3 pages back on, because I was just playing this song. And you'll hear me slowing down a bit in the later parts, because I'm trying to take the advice I saw that whenever you're not sure about what the next note is, don't guess. Slow down and do it right, even if it takes you out of the timing, unless of course you're sight reading and like then timing is the most important. Like if you're sight reading in like a live performing type of thing, then don't do this. But like if you're just practicing, the idea is that if you do it at the right speed but incorrectly, then your muscle memory logs that as, okay, this is how we do it, and then it takes extra work to like erase that and then go to the correct muscle memory. Whereas if you do it slowly but the correct way, then your muscle memory is like, okay, we can start making this path here, and then you just reinforce that, and it apparently gets you up to speed a lot faster. And I have found that it's helped in some pieces where I felt like I just had a wall, where I was just trying so hard to get this piece up to speed and it just wasn't working. So yeah, that's a tip for you. Just use your body's muscle memory to your advantage, because you cannot think consciously about everything when you're playing. It's just there's not time, so you really have to offload a lot of it to just automatic things. That's why practice is important. Piano teaching moment. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to start playing Canon in D by Pachelbel, arranged by Lemon Tart. After I drink coffee. I was going to say apologies if you can hear that car alarm, but it stopped, so yay. piece is a marathon, but I love it. In case my students watching this, I totally get what you mean about always, like, practicing goes better than when you're suddenly, like, on camera. I did not make that many mistakes. You might not have been able to hear them if you're just casually listening, but, like, I did not make that many mistakes when I was practicing by myself. I feel like that's just the nature of, performing. And next, I think I'll show you a piece I've been working on for a long time. Not one of my own pieces, but like a piece I've been practicing, which is an arrangement of Sagitta Luminis from my favorite anime, Madoka Magica. The piece's name means bright arrow, and it's the one, if you know the show, it's the one that happens at the end when I don't know if it's relevant to, like, warn for spoilers, because it's, at this point, it's a relatively old anime and pretty famous, but, like, when that, like, beautiful moment of hope and breaking the cycle happens, this is the piece that plays. So it always brings a lot of feelings when I hear it, so I wanted to play it. But it has so many, like, weird chords it's just very dense in chords, so you have to, like, know what you're doing. So it's like your brain has to be on every beat instead of just like, okay, here's an arpeggio pattern. I can turn my brain off for a couple seconds for the left hand and just focus on other stuff. So I feel like I have to, like, be alert for every single note, which is exhausting and not really possible if you want to play at any speed. Plus, it's in the key of 4 flats. I think it's in a major key, which means that would be A flat major. That's minor, sorry. When I don't know a scale by heart, I just, like, try it out until it sounds right. So, and I've been playing for 25 years, and I was formally trained for 10 of those years, so don't worry if you don't know all the scales by heart, is what I'm saying. But yeah, so yeah, this would be A flat major, so that means there are 4 flats, and then, like, this piece constantly throws accidentals in, meaning flats, sharps, and natural notes, white notes that aren't in the key signature. So you have to be, like, alert. And I wrote a bunch of fingering notes, and, like, certain places I was just like, okay, this is a C major chord, this is an F minor chord, just to give myself a shorthand when I'm playing. Anyway, it's a beautiful piece, and I will play it as much as I can for you. I've practiced the first page a lot more than the second page, so we'll see how it goes, but let's go. actually really happy with how that went. That's the piece that's been like kind of a brick wall, and so I started using the method of just like going really slow but hitting the right notes, and that has helped. I feel like it's helped even more than just like getting the right fingering, although that can help a lot, especially when you're like, um, when you don't have a lot of wiggle room with what fingering you can use. Like, you have to really nail down, okay, I am using this fingering on this note, and that's what I'm practicing. But when it's, but there are some situations where it's like a slow piece or not very much is happening, so you have some, um, like you could either use two or three to hit a note, the as in the second or third fingers, and that, you know, it doesn't take a lot of brain power to like decide, um, in the moment which one you want, or rather you have the brain power to decide as you're playing, and you're you don't have your fingers all like tied up with other notes, so that you kind of have to decide, okay, which one is coming down to play this note. So, but this song is just like you have to know what your fingers are doing and do that. But yeah, I love this song a lot. One interesting thing that I've started doing with like whenever there's a rolled chord at the end of a song is, um, I don't know, like I'll have to look this up, but I don't know what the protocol is for like when you have a rolled chord in both hands. Like, do you roll your left hand and then your right hand, like, and it just goes bottom to top across the whole piano? Because my understanding is like rolled chords go from bottom to top like this. Um, but like, or are you rolling both of them at the same time? So left hand and then right hand would be like, and that sounds kind of weird to me. So for the end, I figured it's fine to just like do a really slow roll. Like I think the end that we have here is, so just very slow, like going across all of the notes instead of like the faster roll I would usually do. So it's in the timing of the measure. But like the other option is you just do it at the same time, both hands. I'm not sure if I can make that sound completely good either, so I'll have to look up if there's like a standard thing that pianists do, because like, you know, there's always more to learn even if you've been studying piano a long time. And I find that a lot of things, like I was taught really young, so I don't necessarily have the words for them because they're just kind of like intuitive. So it's actually helpful for me to like get the full context by looking them up. Like, okay, I vaguely remember this concept, but I want to teach it, and then, oh, here's some extra stuff that I didn't remember from my childhood or wasn't taught because I was too young to like need to worry about that. So yeah, that's helpful. One thing I didn't think about how hard it was to learn until like, um, I started teaching my student was the timing of the pedal, because it's natural to me, but I remember I did have to learn how to do it, because like you can't do it at the exact same time as you're going up, as you're unpressing the notes, letting go of the notes, because there's a gap, but you don't want to do it like, too late because then you'll have like a muddy sound. So I looked up the how other piano teachers on YouTube teach the pedal, and it's basically as you're pressing down, as your hands are going down for the new note, your foot goes up and then back down, just really quick. So and I feel like I was trying to see what I was doing as I was thinking about, okay, how would I teach this, and I think like that is what I'm doing as I'm playing pedal, because like I use pedal in a lot of my songs. But it is kind of, it's not intuitive, so take some practice. And let's see, I think I'd like to show you some of the song that I said was going to be the other song that I wanted to play on my piano with my dad and didn't get to because I was I just didn't feel like I was up to speed to be able to play with another musician. This piece is originally for cello and piano instead of violin and piano, but they have versions for different like melody instruments. I think there's one for flute as well, maybe viola, and it's by this group called the Piano Guys. They're actually a cello and piano duo. Um, so I don't know why their name is not like the Cello and Piano Guys, but that's them. So, and I think this arrangement is official. I did find it on MuseScore, but sometimes they have like official arrangements on there. And it's their version of O Come, O Come, Emmanuel. And I decided I want that to be like a memorial piece for my piano. I especially like the fact that one part of the word says rejoice, and that's kind of, I want to remember the good times with her. I call my piano she, and I decided to name her Serena because I want to remember that she brought me peace when I was playing her growing up. And when I was practicing, I made a lot of adjustments, especially to the left hand, because they have this type of arpeggio that they do a lot that's fairly common in like really like heavily romantic era, as in the type of like the era of music, not as in a love song, but like romantic expressive music. It seems to happen a lot. This type of arpeggio that is larger than an octave, so you're like maybe it's like C, G, and then the next C, that not the next C up, but the next E up, which is quite a long ways to reach on your with your left hand. And you can cross over, of course, with your fingers, but sometimes I'm like, okay, do I want to do that or just like stretch? And it kind of depends what feels the smoothest and easiest on a given piece. And I just felt like I couldn't do that as well as get the piece up to like being able to play it. So I adjusted a lot of those to just be up to the octave instead of higher than an octave, like the third above. And I decided I want to play it as written. There's also a lot of like 8va, which means play an octave above, so you're jumping a lot with the right hand too. And it sounds great, but it's like an extra thing that you have to learn and like focus on getting jumping the correct distance. So I also wasn't doing that, and I'm like, no, since I have time now, I want to focus on learning this piece as written and just play it really beautifully. And it sounds great even without like a violin or cello, but my housemate does play cello, so whenever she gets to a level that she feels comfortable with playing this type of thing, I would love to have her play this with me. Or maybe my dad when I go to visit my parents again. They are living somewhere else now, so they found a house, but still a lot of oh, a lot of memories were lost. So um, so yeah. I don't know if I'll play the whole thing because when I try to do there's a chord change, a key change partway through with a ton more flats than um, the first part. The first part is in it's not D major, but it's the relative minor. No, it's not D. Sorry, it's not G major, but it has that one F sharp. I forgot the D major has two sharps. Sorry. What a faux pas! Forgetting that D major has two sharps. So it starts in E minor because that's the minor with the same key signature as G major, and then it goes to not a flat major, but it's the same key signature. One moment. F minor. I was doing the trick where you play 3 half steps down from the major to get the minor. So, yeah. And even though I was playing that in the Sagitta Luminous piece, same key signature, I'm just not prepared and in that mindset when I've been playing in E minor this whole time, and then I have to like switch the entire melody into a new key. So I'm working on it, but not quite there yet. So we'll see how it goes. And this song, like their version of it, is on Spotify, I think, and probably YouTube. So like, I recommend going and hearing the version with cello and like played by the people that arranged it because it's so good. And again, it's the piano guys. Their version of O Come Emmanuel. Out of stretch. Okay. Sorry, this is weird. I just noticed there are 2 fermatas on this is probably because of the violin part or the cello part. I don't remember which instrument starts first. I think it might be that just like the cello doing its own, just a plain rendition of the melody, and then we get fancy. Like we're introducing the theme and then doing the variation. But it's kind of funny to see there's just these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 measures of complete rest, of whole rests in the at the beginning of the piano part, and 2 of them have fermatas on them, which I'm sure is because of the cello, but it's just kind of funny. So anyway, let's start. we got through it. Um, you can see how much I slowed down on the second part. Hope it wasn't like too much of a drag to listen to. But it felt nice to go ahead and get through it. I wasn't like, sometimes I'm like, okay, this is just, I'm going so slow that I would rather just like take a break and do each hand separately. But with that one, I was like, no, I think I can get through it. It's like, it's slow, but we're making progress. So, um, man, that second key signature. One of the songs I'm trying to learn right now, which is a for Madoka fans, it's a arrangement of Connect, the opening song, which is really cool but surprisingly difficult. And it has like three key signature changes, and one of them has a bunch of flats, and I'm like, why? What, like, was this necessary? I just want to play a cool song from an anime I like. And the text is smaller than a regular, like the sheet music is smaller than a regular, I guess, font. So it's a bit hard to read, and like there are all these complicated things. So I'm just like slowly going through that one. I suspect it's the official arrangement. Sometimes official arrangements are like, I'm not sure they had a person on staff who understands the piano as well as they should and what actually works on this instrument. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. There's one song I'm learning with I'm helping my student learn right now, which I won't name names, but like I feel like whoever arranged this song just had some kind of vendetta against 8-va symbols, which are the ones that, tell you this is an octave above or below where it's written, or there are portions where I'm like, you should have added a little treble clef into where the bass clef is instead of adding like 6 ledger lines in between the staves. Like middle C is one thing, and I can see going up to E or F maybe, but like G or A, just add a treble clef and make it like, that's less annoying to read. It's still annoying, but like at least it's standard. Whereas like I'm not used to counting that many ledger lines, so I really have to stop and think. At least in between the staves, ledger lines above and below are somewhat, I've started to, it's like they're the second level after the actual like within the lines within the staves notes, and I've started to like expand my comfortableness in reading to a certain number of ledger lines above and below, but like when it's approaching 10 ledger lines above, I'm like, just use an 8-va, dude. That's going to be way easier and less confusing to read for your for the people who are playing your music than just like writing it as the actual note, but it's way up there. So so yeah, it's an interesting piece. Not this one, thankfully, but like the piece that my student is learning. So I told him, like, if you want, just pencil in the actual note names up there, because I probably would too, so that you don't have to stop and think every time, okay, what is 9 ledger lines above middle C? Okay. Anyway, I'm at about an hour, so I'm gonna let you go for now. And thanks for hanging out with me and listening to me chat about what I'm working on. And hope you enjoyed what I played for you. Bye.